In the silence between the dunes, where winds write ancient names, my soul wandered barefoot under the sun's eternal flames. There, where the falcon circles high, and the oryx leaves no trail, I listened not to the world, but to my own heart's tale. The desert does not speak in noise, nor boast its golden grace. It whispers truths in solitude, carved across time and space. I walked alone, but never lost, for the sands had taught me how to bow not under burden, and to wear honor as a vow. Each grain beneath my feet was fire, yet kissed with sacred peace, the kind that burns the weaker will and grants the strong release. The sun may brand my skin with heat, the wind may lash my face, but deeper burns the fire within that time cannot erase. In the quiet hours before the dawn, when stars begin to fade, I carved with words upon the dark the legacy I made. A prince not just in title held, but in the soul I own, where horses run through memory and falcons fly alone. My stallion waits without a word, his mane a flowing crown. He knows the roads I've taken, and the times I've fallen down. We ride not just through desert storms, but through the storms of men, and every scar upon my skin reminds me who I've been. I've bowed before no tyranny, nor knelt for hollow praise, for greatness is not shouted loud, it lives in silent ways. In the hands that lift another up, in the eyes that hold no greed, in the courage to go hungry so another one may feed. They call me Fazza in the night, and many sing my name, but what worth is a title carved if the soul forgets its flame? So I walk among the falcons still, and I speak to desert skies, asking not for silver tongues but for truth that never dies. The palm trees sway with old advice, their roots so deep in earth. They've watched the rise and fall of kings, they've known the weight of worth. I sit beneath them silently, and pen my lines in air, for every poem I ever wrote was born of humble prayer. The cities rise in mirrored glass, they shine with man-made pride, but I return to shifting dunes, where my true thoughts reside. For what is wealth without the soul? What is gold without a hand that reaches out to lift the weak and help the fallen stand? The sea it calls me now and then, the pearl diver in my blood, still dives beneath the memory where waves return as flood. My father's voice a distant drum, my mother's gaze the light, that guides me through the palace walls and through the darkest night. I speak not just for royalty, but for every silent dream, for every orphaned sunrise, for every hidden stream. There's poetry in camel steps, in hawk's undaunted glide. There's beauty in the broken man who keeps his faith as guide. The world may change, the skies may shift, the winds may lose their way, but honor is the compass star that never goes astray. And loyalty, the sword I wear, not made of steel or stone, but forged in acts that no one sees, in trials I face alone. When you see my Kandora dance the sky was velvet black, stitched with stars that blinked in age-old rhythm, and I stood once more upon the rising ridge of memory. The wind was not cruel tonight. It came like an old friend, brushing my robe, lifting my thoughts, whispering to me of what I had become, and what I had once been. The moon hung low as though it too wished to listen, not to the world's noise, not to celebration or courtly songs, but to the quiet heartbeat of a man who belongs more to the silence of the dunes than the echo of halls lined with gold. I remember when I was young, and the world felt like an untouched canvas, yet I never wished to paint it with illusion. I wanted to write with truth, even if it meant solitude. My father, may his wisdom stretch to the horizon, once told me, "A man must first conquer himself before he is worthy of leading another." And so I set out to face my own shadows, not in war or in speeches, but in nights where loneliness carved me, in days where my faith held me together. The desert was my forge, and poetry was the sword that emerged from its flame. When you look at the castle, do not only see stone. See the prayers of the builder, the sweat of the hands who laid its foundations, the cries of falcons above it, and the dreams of a boy who once ran barefoot through the same land, chasing nothing but the wind and his own echoes. There is royalty in every child's smile. There is nobility in those who serve, and I chose to wear the cloak of responsibility not as an honor but as a duty, a promise to the people who trust my name. Many think the crown is heavy with power, but they forget it is heavier with responsibility. I have stayed awake while others slept, wondering if I had done enough, if I had missed someone's silent need, if my words had reached the heart of a young one lost in a noisy world. I do not want applause, I want legacy. I want a future where those who come after us still find honor in kindness and pride in humility. These are not just poetic words. They are the way I breathe. When the storm gathers above the dunes, I do not hide. I ride. I let the wind test my courage. I speak to the lightning, not with fear but with fire. For I have stood before trials that would break men, and I have knelt only to Allah. In every battle, inner or outer, I found something more sacred than victory. I found vision. The kind of clarity that comes only after being broken and rebuilt. The kind of strength that carries the weary and lifts the fallen. I have learned to love the struggle because it made me honest. Horses know no lies. They feel your soul in your touch. When I ride with them, I ride not as a master, but as a brother of the wind. We speak without words. We move with understanding. My poetry was born on horseback, in the thunder of hooves across empty lands that are never truly empty. Every place remembers those who honor it. Every path welcomes those who walk with sincerity. And every soul, no matter how lost, finds home when. Welcome to my YouTube channel, subscribe.